Hey, what's up, everybody? Blum FT here, and today I'm going to be giving my 6-month update on the cardiac ablation procedure that I received back in February 2025. So I had promised this video 3 months after the procedure, but as you can tell, it slipped my mind, and I apologize for that. But also, it slipping my mind should hopefully give you a good idea of how this video is going to go and how it went overall. So before I get started, I just want to make a disclaimer that nothing I'm about to say is medical advice. You should do your own research, come to your own conclusions. I'm simply going to be explaining my experience. So now that's out of the way, got to avoid any lawsuits just in case. I'm not your doctor. Don't take what I say at face value. Research. But yeah. What I wanted to do first and foremost is run down quickly what the procedure, the details of my procedure, the recovery process, and then how I feel today. So obviously here we have a diagram of the heart. My ablation was heat-tipped. They used heat, and they were going in to cure my diagnosed SVT, supraventricular tachycardia. So essentially, my heart rate would pick up to 200 beats per minute. Very scary stuff. If you've had it before, you know full well what it is. You know how scary it is. So I had been suffering from this for over 15 years, and for the longest time, every time I came into the doctors, they said that it was, oh, sorry, not 15, I meant to say 10. 10 years. Every time I went to the doctors, they wrote it off as anxiety, which kind of made sense, puberty, that whole period is definitely one where they would assume it's anxiety. But it definitely continued for way longer than it should have. I was never able to properly get it captured and documented, except there was one time paramedics came up into my high school, took my they ran like my pulse, they got it, they printed it off and showed me for some reason. They shouldn't have done that made me more scared, but magically that EKG that had proof disappeared, never showed up in my files, nothing like that. That's a different story though. Back in November of 2024, I had my worst episode yet, where it lasted for over an hour. It was truly one of the most uncomfortable and just terrifying experiences I'd had. But at that point, I was so used to having the palpitations that I genuinely was just ready to die. There wasn't much I could do about it. But I took a beta blocker, expired beta blocker, that I had laying around, and I went to my nearest emergency room. They were able to catch it, finally. And then, while I was speaking with one of the doctors there, my heart rate converted. And I believe it was the beta blocker finally kicking in. But yeah, she helped me get scheduled for the, they got me a reference to see a cardiologist, a different one, because the one that I had been seeing for so long was also one of the people who was like, it's just anxiety. Also, they told me it's not lethal. It can't kill you. Don't worry about it. I wish they were truthful with me. It can absolutely kill you. And I think it's very urgent to take care of it as soon as possible. I don't know if they were trying to spare my feelings or make sure I didn't panic. I felt more rage than anything because they would not tell me the truth. Had they told me, yes, this can kill you, I would have done my best to ensure that I got it documented ASAP, so I could have got it taken care of ASAP. This did not need to go on for 10 years. It's silly. But yes. Anyways, I went in for the ablation. If you watch my previous videos, I basically explained the process, so I'm not really going to go into too much detail right now. The procedure was easy. It took a long time. It was painful. They went in, and I'll show an image of where I got my ablation. This was from the doctors themselves. My right atrium and left ventricle were ablated in red here, as you can see. It was painful, but I got it done. Went home the same day, recorded my video. The next week or so after it, I had a hard time walking around for a long period of time. Talking was also tough for a long period of time. I notice now that if I talk for too long without taking deep breaths, I become winded. I get pins and needles in my arms. But I think that was unrelated to this. Overall, my quality of life has improved drastically. I no longer feel the anxiety of, oh my God, if I reach out too far, is it going to start up? If I suddenly squat down to pick something up, is it going to start? What else? Gas. I had palpitations a lot from gas. If I ate too much, I was bloated, gas in general. If I had to burp and I felt it coming up, palpitations. No more. No more of it. My heart has tried to go into tachycardia several times, though, I will say. I don't know if it's just me or if it'll happen to anyone else, but it absolutely does flutter and try to go into it. Like, you understand your body well when you go through this. You know exactly when you're about to have the palpitations. And unfortunately, it's an electrical issue. That hasn't been fixed. I don't think it ever will be fixed. But the important part is wherever it tries to send that signal, the electricity, wherever it tries to send that signal that starts the tachycardia, that spot is dead. Gone for good. It is dead. So it cannot start. I feel the fluttering. I prepare myself. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. Nothing. Because it can't. So overall, I give it a 10 out of 10. It was absolutely worth the experience. The fear that led up to it, I kind of laugh at it now. And I ask this to anyone who is worried or anxious. What are you more scared of? The cure or the disease itself? You are diseased. It is undeniably heart disease. Would you rather, and I know you're trying to weigh out the risks. The biggest risk is that you die on the operating table. Would you rather, and this is going to sound a little morbid, would you rather die on the operating table, pumped up full of drugs and you don't even know what's happening? Probably one of the most peaceful deaths you could have. Or would you rather sit down, curled up in a ball, scared out of your mind, with your heart rate going 200 beats per minute, and you're going to have a slow, agonizing death, possibly? I will take the operating table any day. But it is a very safe procedure, so you will not die, most likely. Now I want to run through a couple questions that I got on YouTube real quick. Okay, so one of the questions was, can I run, swim, and play high intensity sports afterwards? And I'm kind of like paraphrasing the questions because they're fairly long. I have yet to play any high intensity sports after it, but I absolutely do run on a treadmill, and I am able to do it without any problems. My heart can reach really high beats without any issues. Without any issues. That has not been a problem at all. I just think you need to take time to let your heart heal, of course. I advise against running on a treadmill like the day of, or even like a week or two after. Heal. Take time. Be patient. This is not something you want to screw up. I promise. If you end up putting on a little weight, don't worry about it. I'd much rather put on a little weight, get a little pudgy, because I missed out on exercising for 3 months, than my heart possibly developing an issue. That's my thing. Another question. Do I have flutters or skip beats while pushing myself, or do I no longer have them? I do still get flutters. As I stated before, typically after I am bloated from eating, or if I, have a lot of gas. Never turns into anything else, though. Couple flutters here and there, and it's done. I don't have to worry about that anymore. It feels liberating, honestly. My mind feels clear. I'm not scared anymore. I'm not worried about it. I don't have to worry going into work. Oh my God, what happens if this happens while I'm on the job, you know? I'm not scared anymore. Next question. Uh, do you feel chest tightness when laying down or bending over before the ablation? I never had tightness in my chest naturally. Um, Whenever I had the palpitations itself, I had symptoms like that, but never before it happened. um, it would typically be my anxiety that made me feel that way. And even now, when I have anxiety attacks, it feels like my chest is tightening, my throat, back of my head right here. It's bad. Next one. Do you think it's cured for the rest of your life? Ideally, it should be cured for the rest of my life. I've heard plenty of stories of people having to go back in 2 more times, 3 more times, then it's really gone. So we'll have to see. I said this to the person who asked the question. If this lasts me 10 years, I'd say that was well worth it. Easily. How was the recovery? I read a lot about how people were tired, fatigue after ablation. Yes. Um, I wasn't tired, but I definitely could not walk around too much, as I stated earlier in the video. It was hard, and I would get lightheaded. So that was definitely common and to be expected, but I wasn't really tired from it. You go to the gym, play intensive sports? No. My suggestion would be no. I've seen plenty of people who said they could. I will never take that risk, especially with my heart. Never taking that risk. I wouldn't do it. Was the ablation worth it? Absolutely. Without a doubt. Yep. Easily. I don't know how else to put it. And I feel like this video is going to come out a little short, but I think it's good that this video is short. I have no complaints. If anything, my whining was from how long it took to get the operation. All the hoops and the suffering I had to go through just to get it cured, and it was so easy and quick. Yeah, I believe that anyone who's on the fence, go for it. And again, if you are scared, ask yourself, are you more afraid of the cure or the disease itself that will eventually, most likely, kill you? You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think dying of a preventable disease is the most unfortunate thing. So unfortunate. My procedure took 3 hours. Anyone else, it should be shorter. Mine was SVT and AFib. I didn't even know I had AFib. Go for it. Couple-hour procedure, maybe even less than an hour, for about, hopefully, 10 years of mental clarity. Go for it. But yeah, thanks to everyone who tuned in to watch. I hope you enjoyed and feel a little less stressful about it. You know, if I could make a 5-hour video explaining everything, I'd try. But really, the answer is so simple. Please just go for it if you're on the fence. And again, remember, do your own research. Come to your conclusion. I'm not your doctor. I am not giving you, advice that you should stick to. Don't go to the doctors and say, hey, Blood Moon told me to go get the ablation. Don't do that. Talk it over with your doctor. Talk it over with your family. I'm sure they'd be supportive of it as well. Go for it. This was the best thing that has ever happened to me. I've never been afraid of operating rooms and needles and getting probed with catheters. That's never scared me. But just the idea of, man, do I really want to go there where I could possibly die? Or do I want to take my chance and just take beta blockers for the rest of my life? No. I went for it. And it was worth it. But yeah, thanks to everyone who tuned in. I hope this helps at all. It's a very short, 6-month follow-up video, but as you can see, look through my channel history. I had no motivation to post at all. I felt like garbage. Shortly after I recovered, you just see my channel exploding. Reactions, gameplay, reactions, live streams. It changed my life, and it was worth it. Take it easy, everyone.